Okay, we're back. Um, so it's easy. I don't have to travel around with a lot of, formula plus bottles plus, water for the bottle. Like, there's none of that. It's just my milk. If I take a bottle of express breast milk, it's, prepared, quote unquote, already. And I haven't really been warming my breast milk, which I'm going to do a video on things that I, bought or received as gifts that now that I have a baby, I realize I didn't need, and one of them is a bottle warmer, especially because I'm doing exclusive breastfeeding and, pumping milk. Like, he doesn't need, and even if I was doing formula, unless you kind of train your baby to want like a warm bottle of milk, I think most babies will take a room temperature milk. Because when I quote unquote, when I defrost my breast milk that was in the freezer, I just use warm water from the tap. So the breast milk doesn't really get warm. It just becomes room temperature kind of sort of by the time it melts. Maybe just a slight little bit of warmth, but nothing, not what a bottle warmer would probably warm it to. And I think that's best to kind of get your child used to like room temperature milk, because that's less work for you. You don't need to always have a bottle warmer with you. If you're making formula, you could just use room temperature water to make the formula, room temperature bottled water to make the formula, and I think that's, kind of easy. You staring at me? Anyway, so the challenge of breastfeeding is him using me as a pacifier, and he won't take a pacifier. I don't know if there are any tricks to getting babies who won't take pacifiers to take them. I mean, it's kind of good that he won't take a pacifier because it won't be a habit, but at the same time, sometimes he just needs to suck, and my nipples are really sore. And so it would be nice if I could just give him a pacifier. It's not that I even want to use it like to, some people use it to kind of plug the babies when they start crying. It's not that. It's just sometimes he really just has, newborns, and some newborns have a stronger desire to suck than others, and I think he has a pretty strong desire to just suck at certain points. And when they have that strong desire to suck, that it can take a toll on your nipples. I'm sure other mothers who've experienced the same thing can attest. So anyway, breastfeeding's been great. I really encourage anybody who is on the fence about it to, really consider it, at least try. I don't knock anybody who decides to bottle feed, because breastfeeding is a huge commitment. That's one thing I will admit, that's another challenge. Like, you don't realize how much of a commitment it is until you start doing it. But once you kind of get in the groove of it, you kind of just get used to it. The first couple of weeks were definitely challenging. You are never used to a person being, especially when you're exclusively breastfeeding, he is so dependent on me. And I've never had anybody ever be as dependent on me. And it's just me, because I'm the one with the boobs and the milk, and so that's that can be tough and almost emotional to realize how like important you are to that to his survival, because nobody else can just take him and breastfeed him. It has to be me. And so that, knowing that is on you can be not a burden, but you just realize it's a big responsibility and it's a big commitment. Because, as much as, I'm not working right now, I'm, trying to do the stay-at-home mom thing. And my husband is working, and so I can deal with getting a nap in the middle of the day. He can't. So I really don't expect him to help me at night, and at night he can't really help me because I'm breastfeeding. And so that's a part of the commitment, that you can't really hand off the night feedings unless I were to pump some milk and let him do a night feeding. But I don't do that. I just especially because he gets comforted much more quickly by me breastfeeding and will go back to sleep than if I were to try to give him a bottle. Although he can't fall asleep after getting bottled milk, but it's just a lot quicker. He gets comforted, he gets his milk, and he goes right back to sleep. So that, that's a huge commitment, especially if you have a child that wakes up every hour, every 2 hours. I don't have that. My son will sleep from about 11:30 until like 2, 3, or 4 in the morning. So like I get at least 3, 4, or 5 hours depending on what time, depending on what he's doing that particular night. So some nights he'll wake up one time, some nights he'll wake up twice, some nights he'll wake up 3 times, but it's usually once or twice. It's rarely 3 times. And so that's nice. I get like chunks of sleep. And I'm also someone that can function without a lot of sleep. So, the breastfeeding at night thing, it's fine. Like I said, breastfeeding has been, I guess, somewhat easy for me. I've been able to do very well with all the different breastfeeding positions. So at night, I do sideline. I put him down next to me. He breastfeeds. I get a few more, snoozes in while he's breastfeeding, and then I put him back. I swaddle him, and I put him back in his crib. And I have to do a video on swaddling and the importance of swaddling, because I didn't swaddle him for a couple weeks after we came home from the hospital, and I think that was a mistake. But I'm swaddling him again now at night and sometimes during the day, and it helps him to sleep longer and to sleep more restful, I guess. So yeah, breastfeeding has been great, and I encourage anyone to try it. And your body was created in a way that God created our bodies to be able to do this. And one thing, like when I took him for his 1 month exam, so he was born 6 pounds 14 ounces at his 1 week well visit, or 2 week. When he was 2 weeks old, we took him in and well baby visit, and he weighed 7 pounds 4 ounces, which I was like, wow, I can't believe he gained that much weight, and I could see him getting bigger. Then 2 weeks later, at his 1 month checkup, he weighed 9 pounds 5 ounces. Can I tell you, I was the proudest mother on the face of the earth. The proudest mother, because not only was he doing great and gaining weight, but it made me feel so proud that I was doing this. I was providing, like, he hasn't had anything to eat but me, or not me, but my milk. And he is thriving and gaining weight and becoming healthy, and it just made me feel so proud, because it was something I was doing my body was doing all on its own. And I had been really concerned, which is why I watched so many videos on breastfeeding, was just trying to get all the tips I could, because I was concerned I was going to have issues. And I really haven't, thank God. And my major concern is just making sure my supply doesn't drop, which it shouldn't if I'm exclusively breastfeeding. Because I don't want to buy formula simply because it's so expensive. I was talking to somebody the other day at my church, and she was telling me that she goes through a can of the formula that BJ's sells, which is the biggest you can get, every 2 weeks, and they're $40 a can at BJ's. $40 every 2 weeks. Like, I can't even imagine. Hold on. I can't even imagine having to spend that much money on formula. Like, I mean, obviously, if that's what you have to do, you have to do it. But it's so expensive. Like, why does it need to be that expensive? $80 a month on formula? That's crazy. I mean, her child is older than mine. Her child is 6 months old. But still, I mean, that means it just keeps getting more and more expensive. Hold on 1 second. Hello? Hey, you leaving? Okay, no problem. Okay, no problem. Bye. This person's coming to take me because I don't have a car right now because we're down to one car. And anyway, so because I'm not working, we're trying to keep expenses as low as possible. So while I'm producing free milk, I'm taking advantage of it. So I've been pumping. I've even taken some capsules of fenugreek last week. I stopped taking them already because you don't need to continue to take them. They're the natural herb that can help to increase your supply, and it does. Trust me. I wasn't feeling my letdowns, which I know is not a problem. Some people feel let down, some people don't. I wasn't feeling my letdowns at all until I started taking this pill, and